Back for another live coaching with a subscriber. Can you remind me of your current rank? What rank are you in this video and stuff?
Okay, so this video, I think I was silver 3. I am
Silver 3,
currently
okay.
right now gold 1.
Okay, cool. So just a little bit before. All right, that's fine. So what we're going to do is our standard procedure. We're going to kind of go through the game, tell you what you could have done better, things you did well, and just a kind of standard procedure. So let's get right into it. Again, if you've got any questions during the game, just feel free to ask me and I'm happy to kind of discuss it. So let's kind of start from the beginning. So like you said, you kind of just spawned up, you died. So what I'm noticed straight away, okay, is as soon as you spawned up, your teammates are all dead around A point. Now, this is quite a bad situation because on this map specifically, what you want to do, so you're the blue team, okay, you're on the defense. The offensive team normally wants to try and get A as quick as possible, just because how much easier B is to control. They always want to try to get A. Like, so good teams you'll find, they'll try to stack A and get that point done as quick as possible. So that's kind of what's happening right now. You can see they've got 3 opponents dead on your team. So in this moment, what I would recommend is, I mean, you could go to B, but there's not really a point. And I can see your teammates kind of covering B. So at this very moment, I'm going to assume that they've got like a 3-player setup like this and maybe 1 player off the spawn. So that's what I'm going to kind of assume right now. Let's kind of see how you play this. So again, so right now in my head, the danger zone is going to be around here. So I'm very interested to see how you play it. And do you have any kind of comments so far?
No, this game has been so long ago, so I'm not exactly sure what
fine,
happens.
Yeah, in terms of like what we do is as we go along, I want you to tell me what you think as well. So even if you're not doing it, replicating it in the game, at least I know that your mindset's evolved since, you know, maybe last time you got there. So would you agree that right now this is kind of the danger zone?
Yeah, technically me running mid is really stupid. I probably would have went, if anything, I probably would have cut through, since we're already got somebody on B, it'll be easier to run through B to get to A. Yeah. So like a flank. You know?
So you're saying right now, instead of going through here, you think right now you're kind of vulnerable. So maybe going through B, maybe pushing like this?
Yep.
I think I understand your logic there. I actually don't mind this play purely based on the fact that they've already got a tick on A, right? So I think that they've already got this tick. Okay, 1 out of 3. As soon as I feel like by the time you go round and you get to this door, I feel like they're almost going to be complete on A, especially considering the scenario. Like maybe if you had your teammates pushed up, for example, if your teammate was maybe here watching this side and your other teammate was pushed up to these stairs, then I'll be like, okay, you know what? Maybe you making a play isn't the worst. But I just feel like because you're the only person here, it's not a bad play. It just depends how you kind of go about it. So one thing I'm looking at is your use of equipment. Now I'm assuming that they've got trophy systems on the hill. So let's just assume there's a trophy system here, right? What I'd want from you being the first player in is to chuck your stun and nade over. The reason is because when your teammates come for reinforcements, if they want to also chuck their equipment over, at least that way you've got rid of the trophy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So right now, if you're going to push like this, I want to see you use your equipment, because think about it, a trophy can only hold a few pieces of equipment, right? So if you're not going to use your 2 pieces, then when your teammate comes over and he uses his, it's still going to be there. So your goal right now is to basically try to get at least 1 kill and get rid of the equipment. That's a really good kind of scenario for you to be in. So let's see what happens here. And if you kind of go ahead with that. So you spot 1. So you kind of make him weak. So we've been through the way to control your recoil, right? Since our last session.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, and we'll go through it again in the private match, but yeah, just as a reminder. So right now, I feel like now you might be a bit more confident to get this kill. So yeah, it's just stuff like that. That's why kind of controlling your recoil and your aim is really important, because sometimes when a player overcommits, right, like in that scenario there, you want to be able to take them out and kind of carry on with your push. So right now, you got quite unfortunate, you didn't get that kill. You go through. But one good thing I would say is that, you know, your opponents look like they've retreated from A and they've gone over to B. So if you look at your setup right now, you've got you and your teammate kind of sitting here together. You've got one of your teammates going to B and your other teammates on your left. So this is where I would say, as soon as you get this 1 player here, you have to assume that the rest of the opponents are going to B. Because look at the minimap, you can see your teammates in a fight on B. You've got 3 people watching A and there's no one really else on there. So I want to see kind of how quick you react to this. So yeah, let's just see what happens there. So you go through. So again, do you see what I mean by equipment? Like right now, when you kind of trapped him in here, you made him 1 shot. So as soon as you made him 1 shot here, I think right now is a really good maybe opportunity to throw your equipment in, because the chances are he's probably just trying to regen in that room. He might have gone upstairs, but the chances are he's probably just sitting in that room. So I feel like if you chucked a stun and nade in there, you probably would have killed him, but that's okay. You're going to go through and let's kind of see how this one plays out. So now you know he's on the hill, okay? So let's see how you approach this. There you go. So you chucked your stun, which is great. Your teammate's there with you. You're going to go across. Okay, cool. So now as soon as you get those kills, your teammates have done a really good job on B, trying to get the initial kills. But one thing I would be worried about is I feel like the opponents are going to put a lot more pressure onto B now, just looking at the mini map. So I want to see how you kind of respond to this. I'm going to guess I might be wrong, but I'm going to guess you're going to push to the left and try to watch this angle, and I don't think you're going to get any action. But let's just see how this plays out. I could be wrong.
You're probably right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess I was kind of right to an extent, but not too much. So you can see, like, yeah. So I feel like right now, this is what I want to try to get with terms of your game awareness, okay? So right now, as soon as you push through on the mini map, I think right now you know that somebody's playing in the middle, right? So you're kind of playing for that opponent. But I think one thing you're not remembering is that the main spawn point is this point here. So now that you guys have kind of cleared middle map and stuff, as soon as you kind of get this kill on A, let's let you get the kill.
Yeah.
So as soon as you got this kill, I want you to look where your teammates are. So you and your teammate are sitting here. You got your other teammate at the back, like here, and your other teammate basically back B. So I'm going to assume, I think it's fair to say that your opponents are all going to be spawning around here. Maybe one of them pushes back this way, potentially. Maybe one overextends this way. But again, that's going to take a long time. I'm going to assume, again, this is all assumption because I don't know. We don't really have a radar to understand, but we're just kind of going to guess here what's the most likely scenario. I'm going to assume that these three players are going to push around here. One might watch this angle. One might go through, and they're just going to try to get B. Do you think that's fair to say? Do you think that kind of makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So right now I'm thinking, right, what could I do if I was you? Well, I think straight away, as soon as you're going through this angle, I think if you can start to set up for the push after, it will make your life a lot easier. So what I mean by that is right now you're pushing through, you're number one. Okay. Let's assume their number one is sitting in the hill. Even this small difference. Okay. But with your teammate on the left, you can see your teammate on the left. Okay. Instead of you going all the way around here and then you're basically trapped on this side of the map, I would have personally gone to the right, gone with your teammate, because that way you're pinching him first of all. So if the opponent looks at one of you, the other one will get the kill. So as you're going through here, even that small decision, instead of you going this way, I would have liked if you went this way, got that kill, and by then you could have gone up the stairs and wrapped through to the balcony and helped your teammates at B. So can you see how such a small difference? Because right now you spot him in the middle, right? So you basically are going to guarantee this kill. There's two of you here. Unless he kills both of you, which is very unlikely. I would have preferred right now you chuck a stun there like you did. Perfect. But instead of going left here, just go right. Let your teammate go through. But like, even if you slid across right now and you get there at the same time, you would have killed him and then you could have gone up the stairs. So as soon as you go up the stairs, then you could have kind of watched this area and watched the balcony. Just a little play like that, just to help your teammates a bit more on B and give a bit more map pressure. So happy with that? Again, it's just an alternative option. It doesn't mean that was the right play, but in terms of my head, if I was looking back and like, what is an optimal play? I feel like that's just a better play because you're basically able to cover B, take him out, and then support your teammates. Sorry, cover them at A and then support your teammates on B.
Yeah, that I'm because now as you actually say that would have been a lot easier because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if they're going to B, that means I have to at least rotate the balcony.
Yeah, exactly.
Balcony,
Yeah, so you know exactly what you're doing, right? It's just about in-game, just making it slightly easier on yourself. And it's just these little decisions that, to be honest, it won't change the outcome of a game. So it's not like, oh, why did you go left? You're going to lose the game. And it's not even that big of a deal. But I'm just trying to get your mind to think of the future parts of the game as well. So even that small little route from there to there, basically let you stay there for 10 extra seconds, right? Where if you went right instead, your initial reaction would have been to go up the stairs. And can you see the complete difference? So this is position 1 and this is position 2. They're completely different. One is basically isolated from the match. So this is where you were now, where if you did the other way, you would have been up here and you would have been, affecting them here. You would have been going to the top. Even if you died, at least you're impacting the play. You're kind of making a choice. You're, distracting the team, you're just giving a bit more of a fight towards the opponent. So just a small decision. And you can see right now, like you're sitting here thinking, right, where the opponent's going to be. And again, we kind of predicted it before. You can see the B points going on. So I'm going to guess that they're kind of heavily going towards B. And worst case scenario for them, maybe one player goes to A and you get like a nice kill. But besides that, I'm going to assume that at least 3 people are going towards B. So any questions so far? Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect.
It makes a lot of sense.
Again, not a bad play, but you can see right now you got 1 kill, but you essentially haven't done anything else, and they're basically on B. So they're going to get B, even though your team's getting all the kills. So what that tells me is your teammates are basically in a 3 versus 4, and they're getting outnumbered. And another thing to note, right, is look how quick your teammate rotated here. So your teammate's with you, right? So he kind of was aware of the danger at B. So look what happens. As soon as you guys get the kill, he's gone. So while you're sitting here, he actually assesses the danger and he's doing what we spoke about. So he's gone and he's already going to B to help your team. So just a small thing to be wary about, making sure you're kind of in the right position. And you see right now you're going for me personally, this is just a bit pointless because the damage is already done, right? They've already fought all over here. So you pushing this area now with an assault rifle isn't going to be any benefit to you. So what I'd rather you do in this scenario is that, right, they've got B. I'm going to back off here. I'm going to sit in a power spot. So maybe I'm going to go top A. I'm going to go to the left. Just sit in a power spot to kind of watch the angles because you know they're going to be coming from this side now. Does that make sense? Can you see what I mean by like they've got B and now you're pushing through?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens here. So they've already got B. So now you're kind of going into the open. And yeah, this isn't just really a gunfight you're going to be prepared for. Again, something we spoke about in the last session as well is just your centering and just expecting like where the opponents are going to be, right? So you're thinking, right, my opponents, where do you think they're going to be based on kind of the knowledge we spoke about? Bearing in mind your teammates just got 3 kills. So where do you think they're going to spawn if you're of the red team?
Most likely they're probably going to spawn like normal up top in
like
the
around
courtyard. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you know they're going to spawn there, right? What would you say like the most quickest route is to kind of get to B?
Obviously if I'm at A, shooting across, but I mean now that you think about it,
for the opponents, sorry, like if you're the opponents, what do you think they're going to go to get to B right now? Like basically my main point is where do you think the danger is? It's going to be this tunnel, right?
Yeah, they're just going to cut through the tunnel and go through the tunnel under
look at your centering, what we spoke about. Like your centering is kind of like, look where your aim is right now. That's another thing we need to work on, is just kind of getting your centering to where the danger is going to be. So you remember your teammates are here. So this is what's happening right now. You're number 1. Okay, you're pushing through this alleyway. Your teammates with you, so your teammates around here. Your other teammates are sitting here. Now, for me, the danger zone is only going to be here. Like, this is the only danger zone you need to worry about because your teammates have got behind you. Your teammates have got all this area. So for me, I wouldn't really worry about that. I would just worry about this corridor here. But what ends up happening is you're going through and you're actually centering onto the right, basically behind the door. But it's not really something you need to be worrying about. You need to be worrying about the immediate danger in front of you. So you're going to go through and you see how you get taken out purely based on centering. So right there, I feel like if you knew the opponent was going to be there, you could have gone prone, you could have centered onto this alleyway. Then as this guy approaches you, you would have been already shooting him. So can you see how unprepared you were for this gunfight? Look what you had to do. You had to basically go left, snap to the right, and by the time you aimed in, he's already killed you. So it's just about preparing for the gunfight before you even get into it. And that's why centering is so important.
Right.
So yeah, okay, so far, again, not a bad play so far. You're kind of, yeah, I think that makes sense though in terms of what you were thinking. I understand what you're thinking, but it's just like the domino effect of like a small decision of how it can happen. So let's go through. So you spot one more opponent. Okay, some nice shots there. You get one down, spot the second. I like the use of jump shot. I like the fact that you are jump shotting. I think in these moments you don't really need to jump shot as much. Do you remember, like, I know we spoke about this briefly a minute ago, but do you remember the kind of recoil control and what we spoke about since, I know this was before our session, right? So right now, are you kind of more familiar with how to shoot from there, or are you still kind of struggling with that?
No, man, I'm good. This was before I had changed when I watched your settings video.
Yeah.
And I went through my controller settings. This was before I changed my ADS, like, because they have an ADS sensitive, which is the dumbest thing in the world that Call of Duty have. But it's an ADS sensitivity multiplier.
Yeah,
so
the reason they have that, they have that is for high sensitivities. For example, say you want to play 2020. So a lot of players like Warzone, I know that they play like high sensitivity, but they want to keep their aim kind of like minimal. So that's the reason. But what sensitivity do you play?
So I play on regular 6 and 6.
Oh, okay. What was your ADS on?
Yeah, well, my ADS multiplier was instead of being like a 1.0, it was 1.25.
Oh, so it's a bit faster.
It was way too high. Yeah, and I was trying to figure out why I was missing my shots, but you know, that was why. So like, I obviously from here, is you can obviously see I'm trying to make minor corrections. But those minor corrections are like huge.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's just gunfights like that. Like, I feel like now you'll be a lot more confident in. So next time we have our session, we can go through your next gameplay and see the difference in your shot. But yeah, I mean, so I don't need to really like go over the shot. I think you kind of understand that aspect of things. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. You guys know what you're doing. One thing I would say is just, yeah, again, being more efficient with your equipment and stuff like that. So right now, what I would like you to do is I'm just going to look at this setup and see exactly what's happening. Okay, so you've got your teammates in a pretty good setup. One thing I want you to be a bit more wary of, which I haven't seen you look at, is the flank. So I don't need to go through the setup, but just right now, if you look at the kind of the hole in the setup, if I just go to you only, like sit where you are, your teammates are sitting around the hill, right? So you got one teammate there, one on the left, one on the right. For me, the only real danger that you need to be wary of is this area here, somebody flanking you. Because if you think about it, okay, let's say the red team, somebody flanks and he's sitting here. I know the arrow's facing the other way, but if he was turned around, right, he could have killed your teammate there. So he would have been able to kill number 2. And he would have been able to kill you. If he looked over, he would have been able to kill you because you're sitting here. So can you see why this is the only danger? Like right now, look where you're aiming at realistically. you're going through and you're kind of watching behind him, okay? Which I understand why you're doing that, but if you think about it, your teammate is sat right there. So look at your minimap. Your teammate is sat there on the cross. So if anything, your teammate is going to see this before you do, and he'll be able to get into a gunfight. So if he dies, then I'll be like, okay, there's the danger. But right now, no one's watching the flank, and that's what you need to be a bit more wary of. Again, your teammate's got this top area, your other teammate's got the bottom area. It's literally just a flank you need to be wary of. So right now, I'll be a bit more cautious, because you see what you're doing. You're watching the same area as them. So in your head, you're like, okay, I'm watching angles, but realistically, you're not really watching anything. Like, if you want hair right now, nothing would change in terms of the setup. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So all it is about literally everyone watching as well. I think it's just there's so many angles. Okay, think about it. Look how big this map is. Like, if you actually look at this map, it's massive. Same with every other map. For a 4v4, like, let's say wherever your setup's going to be, there's going to be angles missing, right? So what you're doing right now is you're watching with your teammate. You're essentially eliminating a whole angle. Like, you're wasting a whole opportunity where you could be watching the flank, you could be pushed up, watching something else, you know, watching these bottom doors, watching the top window, wherever. As long as you're not watching the same as your opponent, I think that's a good opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong, there's certain times where I think watching the same thing with your opponent is fine, but this isn't one of those cases. So you're going to go through, you're watching over your team. Again, I don't mind this, but I think I just want to see you check the flank a bit more. Even if you go between the two, so you check the flank, chuck a stun there, go back, watch this area, go back, chuck a nade over. It's just about watching both and being able to kind of manipulate the map a bit more. So right now, I'm hoping somebody flanks you so we can learn from that and see what happens. So your teammate gets sniped here. Yeah, one person on A. Okay, let's see how this one goes. I was gonna say, okay, I don't know how I feel about the parkour. I don't know if you saw the opponent right there. I'm assuming you didn't, but as you jump over, you spot somebody on the left here. But even generally, right, this is a really risky play, because you going up to this elevated height, it's just not a good play in my opinion. There's so many angles. I wasn't sure if you were going to die, but there's so many angles they can see you from. Somebody can look from the bottom, from the top there, from the left there. Somebody can come from the right there. Like, there's so many angles that they can shoot you from when you're exposed. Like, they can literally go from anywhere there. Someone can go from the bottom window there, anywhere on the left there, anywhere top A there. There's just so many angles they can see you from that I don't think that's a great play, to be honest. Unless it's, for example, like everyone's fighting at B and you want to kind of push through and you're trying to get there quicker, then it's okay. But when all the support's over at A, I just don't think it's a good play. So you're going to go through. That's actually funny, because I've actually never seen anyone jump over that. So yeah, that's the first time for everything. So you're going to go through. But you're happy with me so far? Does everything kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect. So let's see what happens here. Okay, cool. So you're going for the left. Again, you still got your equipment to work with, which we should be using soon. But I think you're doing a good job so far. I like the way what you did here. I really like that play. So basically, instead of like walking in the middle, you're kind of just going to the outer skirts, pushing through, just making sure that nobody can flank you. And essentially, you're able to kind of watch the basically you're watching the corners, and you should be able to watch the hill as well. So good play from there. I like that play. See what happens here. Spot one in the distance. Good shots. Okay. You love the elevated height, don't you? I don't mind this one though. I don't mind this play. So you know he's in the corner. Perfect. Even though you got unlucky there, I'm gonna say it was a good play. I think you got unlucky there, to be honest. That's just one of the worst things about equipment, is sometimes your timing is slightly off. But you know what? Fair play. Not the worst play in the world. We'll forgive you for that one. I actually like that you use your equipment, so it's not I wouldn't say that was a bad play. It was just one of those plays. It was a little bit predictable that, you know, he might have challenged you, but it was a 50-50, because if he didn't challenge you, it was a good stun play. So I'm gonna let you off for that one. Gonna go through, and yeah, let's kind of see how this one works out. So again, have you noticed that you haven't watched the flank not even once? So it's just something we need to get you into the mind of. Even if they're not going to push the flank, just for you to be a bit more aware of it. I feel like right now you're not even aware of the flank. It's like, for you, it's not even a possibility that anyone flanks you here, and that's an issue. We need to get you a bit more wary of the flank, especially when your mini-map, no one's behind you. You need to be a little bit more problematic there, and make sure you're watching that. So you're going through, was that you marking? Good. I love the use of mark right there. Perfect. So you're telling your teammates, stop being stupid, turn around. This guy doesn't care. He's not having any of it. Okay, cool. So let's see what happens. So, okay. What we spoke about, the flank, right? So you can see you found the danger, but it was a little bit too late. And think about it, this guy was lost. This is what I want to speak to you about, right? When you're in these lobbies, you got to remember that the players you're playing against aren't going to be the same players you play in Diamond. So when you eventually get to Diamond and Crimson, these, or even Platinum, like, these guys are going to be slightly more game awareness. So I want to get you prepared for that. So the fact that this guy on the flank still didn't even look at you is just stupid from him, but he still was able to kill you. That's my main point. The fact that you let somebody like this kill you with no game awareness is a problem. It's not that it's your gun skill, but it's your game awareness.
Right.
So we want to be like, all right, cool. What can we do to work on our game awareness, right? I think the number one step is look at our mini-map and identify what area is missing. So you guys are going through, you've got the kills. And yeah, let's see what happens. So again, very similar scenario. You're sitting here, right? So you're kind of watching this area. But again, we're leaving the flank open. So what I would prefer right now is if you play on these stairs here, and even if you went up those stairs every 5 to 10 seconds, you stood on these stairs. So you stood on those stairs and you chucked a stun grenade here. At least that stun grenade could watch this whole area, right? So you know for the next 5 seconds, nobody's going to be here. And then you can back off a little bit, stand here. So you could back off, watch this area again, which you're doing now. And then you'll be like, you know what, 5 seconds later, let me go back and check the flank. Even though you're not just holding the flank, at least you're checking it regularly, just so that, you know, if somebody does come through, you're probably going to catch them off guard. So that's something you need to definitely work on. So you see, again, you go through and you can see how it's really affecting your team because somebody's actually standing right there. Now, if you were standing a bit closer like on those stairs, you actually would have been able to see him and get that kill. So it's just small plays like that. You're going to go through. So can you see what I mean? You actually make the play, but it's slightly later than we wanted. We want to see you here before the opponent is even there. Happy with that so far?
Yeah.
Perfect. Does that make sense on the flank and stuff, what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like check. It's not like playing on the flank, but it's like checking the flank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't need to play like hold the flank the whole map, but you've got equipment as well, right? So if you want like every life, you should be if no one else is doing it, just hold the flank, chuck a stun, chuck a nade, and watch the rest of the map. At least that way you've got like semi cover on there. It's not like you're fully just locking it down, but at least you have a bit more cover on there. So what happened here? So you end up going through again. You've got your equipment to work with. So even if you just spam it over at this point, just try to get a bit more mixy. You know there's going to be opponents there all the time. There's going to be trophies there. Just try to get as many equipment throws as possible, because what happens is now you've died, you've wasted 2 equipments that definitely could have helped you save the round. So you're going to go through. I don't know if you'll be able to get there in time. Yeah, so honestly, what do you think of that round? Do you think there's things you could have done better? Do you think you could have won that round?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's just like, you know, me not paying attention to certain things, because it's like, I guess for me it's the mini map. And to be honest with you, what's so funny is I started noticing this more that I'm like in a higher, you know, playing a little bit more after we talk. Like Call of Duty timing is so bad in this game. And every time I look away, this is the reason why I don't really use the minimap, is because when I look away, what happens? Like Call of Duty timing.
Yeah, I think what you got to do, you got to get used to having your minimap as like, for me, I don't even look at my minimap as a distraction. I look at it like for 1 second just to gather the information. So it is a bit of a skill to kind of master. And it's just one of those skills where it's very uncomfortable in the beginning. So even everyone watching, maybe in the lower levels, right? Because I've actually been coaching a lot of people recently, and it's quite weird because obviously I'm a Crimson player. I've been playing for so many years. So some of the fundamentals that I really tried to work on at the beginning when I was playing, right? I don't really think about it anymore. It's kind of natural to me. So it's really, well, I have to try to remember that other people, it might not be as natural. So I'm really trying to get everyone in the routine of, you know what, the minimap, it may look difficult at first, but it will become, it's like, for example, if I said to you, right, when you go around, like, why do you aim in? Because somebody that's never played a game before, they might just hip fire everything. So for you, it's natural, right? You're like, oh, it's obvious I aim in when I shoot. Well, it's not obvious for everyone. Like someone that's just picked the controller up for the first time, they might not know how to aim in and shoot. So it's kind of like that, but we're just getting it a bit more advanced. So somebody like me, I'm like, okay, I'm very used to watching the minimap and watching that. Cool. Another element is watching the kill feed. So all these kind of elements are just things that you need to work on, that it might take a bit of time, but you'll see as you play game and game, you're like, right, I know what's happening. Like right now, this is a good time to look at the minimap and like, okay, cool. My teammate's underneath me, the other teammate's watching middle. So I know the immediate danger is going to be on the B point. Like what happens is if you kind of get blinded by the screen only, you lose so much information and it's very difficult to make plays. So I think get used to watching your minimap a bit more. Even if you die a few times, like you're saying with timing, that's okay, because we're trying to learn a skill here. So what happens is in the short run, you might lose more gunfights, but the main thing is the bigger picture, okay? Because we're trying to learn a skill that's going to help you in the long run.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, so even if you lose a few gunfights, you're like, oh shit, I was looking at the minimap. That's okay, because it's not about winning every gunfight right now. It's about getting to a point where your awareness is a lot more valuable than losing 1 or 2 extra gunfights a game. I'd rather you be a bit more aware and be in better positions. That way you might not even lose a gunfight because you're just out positioning them. So you're going to go through. And yeah, okay, so I mean, that's not a bad play. You're kind of backing away. But I think right now, one problem I have is with you backing away because there's 2 of them there. I think it works out here, but again, I think going to a lower angle just isn't the best play, because you want to, like, height's normally a good thing because you have the advantage. So I think right now, this is where you should use the snaking mechanic a bit more. And again, right now, like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be chucking a trophy system, okay? Because you know the opponents that, like, for them, if you're, okay, I want to ask you a question. Let me flip the script here. If you're number 1 and you're sitting on B and you see their number 1 here, so we're going to give them number 1 as well, and they go to like this catwalk here, and you're sitting on B, your first thing is probably thinking, right, I'm going to chuck a stun and nade up there, right? So it's like, if that's your first thoughts as well, why are you expecting them not to do it? Like right now, look, as soon as you peek, I'm expecting, so I'm expecting right now, I'm expecting there's 2 of them. I'm like, okay, if I'm one of them, I'm probably cooking an aid and chucking it up here. But what you should have done is put a trophy down, go back to that gunfight instead of going to the right side of the wall, because they're going to expect you to be here, right? I would like dolphin dive to the left and just make it hard for them to hit you. I would even snake it. Like, you got the advantage here. Put a trophy down, snake this wall, because you've got the height, okay? And even if you make them one shot and you disengage, you're letting your teammates buy some time. Instead, what you end up doing is you actually backed off completely and you let your teammates fight by himself. Now, if somehow he won the gunfights, you see how they won the gunfights, but right now you're here in the gunfight, that's not really a better spot than you were earlier. It only worked out because your teammates got the kill. Imagine this guy dies right here. Imagine he loses his gunfight right there to gun. You're basically in a 1v2, but instead of having the high ground, you've got the low ground with no cover. Can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So you exactly, look at this right now. So you've actually lost a gunfight because you've repositioned to a worse position. So I think you got kind of worried, like, oh, there's 2 enemies there. But instead of like thinking about the bigger picture again, you kind of just rush to the bottom in a worse angle. So again, I think it's just about slowing the game down, looking at the bigger picture, and just trying to be in the best position. So right now, again, you're watching over your teammates. This is where you want to see a trophy system. I'm looking at, if I'm you right now, I'm thinking, to be honest, my teammates on B, I wouldn't be worried about this. This is what I personally would do right now. If while your teammates on B and they're spawning up, I would be like, right, if this guy's distracting on B, my teammate's actually on A, that's way more valuable for me. If I was you, I would go to these stairs and I would watch this area here, watch over my teammate on A and try to secure A, because you've got a really good setup right now. Your team's pushed up. If I was you, I'd be like, right, I'm going to let my teammate distract them on B, because technically he only has to really watch that angle there and this angle here. When you're watching over is helpful, but I would a lot more rather you were over at A and helping him out. So let's see what happens. I mean, it doesn't matter because your teammate died over there. So we'll leave that for now. But yeah, you're doing an okay job here. But one thing is there's a danger zone. Now, I want you to tell me, in your opinion, what is a danger right now that you're not looking at?
Technically it's going to be my flank. Not really under me, but to my right. So like,
perfect.
Let's just say, oh boy at A died.
Okay, so you just died now, right? Your teammate just died now. So what do you think yeah. So right now you're like, this guy's dead. This guy's over here. And you're watching bridge. No one is watching this right now. I'm assuming the guy that's just killed your guy. Remember what we said on the other round? Remember we said round 1, when you got that kill, remember what we said, the very first thing we spoke about? When you get that kill, I want you to push up top stairs and flank them, right?
Yep.
Imagine if that guy's doing what you should have done and he flanks you. You should be watching it a bit more. Even if you chuck your stun there, or right now, this is what I prefer you to do. Chuck a stun and grenade here. So if you're sitting here, I would say chuck a stun and grenade in that little corridor there. Your teammate has got the other side and you just watch your flank for a couple of seconds. That would have been a lot more preferable in my opinion, because right now you're kind of just leaving it to chance. Again, it works out because nobody pushed you, but a lot of times right now you're leaving it to chance. You go through, you should get that kill fairly easily. Okay, that's fine. We'll forgive you again. We know your shots are a lot better now, so that's fine. 4 go down. We're going to push through. And this is what I mean. So right now, I feel like you're not using your minimap and your kill feed enough. So your teammates have just got, you've just got a 4-piece. You've killed Chunky Monkey, Moon Zapper, Night Skies, and Gun. So every single one of them are dead, okay? So what that means to me is they're going to spawn back here, probably here. Fair to say?
Yeah.
So why would you watch the flank now when they're all dead? This is what I mean by game awareness. So you see what I mean? So now you're watching the flank, but everyone's dead. So now, you know, for the next 10 seconds, no one's going to be here. It's impossible. So this is where you need to be like, right, I need to watch the flank when there's danger. But right now, when there's no danger, you're watching the flank for no reason. Can you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Do you want me to explain that again, or?
No, it makes sense. It's just like trying to, I'm sorry, like when you're thinking about it in like a whole
I understand.
game perspective,
It's completely different. Yeah.
It's like in the, you know, obviously like I'm playing better, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm thinking about scenarios from my last few games that I've been playing. I'm like, technically that makes sense. I could be utilizing this stuff and I'm not thinking about it.
No, that's okay. Again, it's a work in progress. So right now, all I'm trying to get you to do is right now, like how you move to the left, I just want you to look at your minimap and just think in your head, paint the picture. So with 4 people down, realistically, is anybody going to push me in the next 10 seconds? No, it's basically impossible. So what I should be doing actually is pushing up on the map. I just got a 4-piece. So instead of being here, I should go through the stairs. I should push up and I should actually spawn trap them here. That's what I'm trying to get you to learn. So it's about these small micro decisions that will have a macro impact. So let's just assume that nothing else changes, but you're number 1, okay? Your teammates get 4 down. Instead of you going there and kind of retreating into this corner, so let's say this is where you were going to, you were number 2, you wanted to be there. I want you to instead go through these door, through the stairs, through here. you got a trophy system and just like sit here on this head glitch this wall. And by the time you get there, right, if you're quick enough, you'll be number 3. You'll be standing here and you'll be watching over your teammate. So they're going to walk right into your gunfights. And this is the difference I'm trying to get into your head. This play right here to get from number 1 to number 3 instead of number 1 to number 2. If you can just learn that one thing today about when to push up, that will change everything. So right now, instead of retreating to the left, I want you to push the right. That way, you're covering this whole angle and you're covering behind you. So your teammate is technically just stacking the hill for free. And again, no one's going to flank them because by the time they go all the way through here, you've already got the hill anyways. So it's just one of those things we're trying to get you a bit more kind of thinking about those scenarios. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. You're playing a little bit passive, which is absolutely fine as long as you're aware of the dangers, which I think you are. And yeah, you're going to go through. So what happened there? So I think they came from the left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, minimap, your teammates died on B, so it's just one of those scenarios where you're watching this danger, but they were on B. So I think, again, just using your equipment a bit more would have just helped you out. So let's see what happens. So can you see how if you push to this side and you got maybe 1 or 2 kills here, how you guys would have had B and it's a completely different game. All from just like 1 or 2 little micro decisions, you can see how it's such a big effect. So you go through. Okay, that's unlucky. I think right there, just something that we can work on your shot again. Yeah, I'm not going to judge your shot too much because I know you've worked on it and it's a lot better now. So it's just kind of your game awareness I want to try to go through with you. So yeah, again, I think you're not using your equipment enough. So it's just a common theme with equipment, centric, all these kind of stuff that I think the more practice you'll get, the better. The main thing I want to speak about is your game awareness. So are you kind of happy so far with the game awareness stuff we went through?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So you go through. I was going to say that was a danger zone to watch behind you. And yeah, let's see how this one goes.
Oh my god. These shots, dog. These shots are so bad.
Let's see what happens there. So right here again, I feel like sometimes
who sits in that spot though? Like you saw that.
I agree with that. But what a common spot is, let me tell you a common spot. Yeah. Remember, you do not have dead silence. Okay? They can hear you. Right. So you're running and you're turning around with a knife. If this is a common spot, this head glitch here is a common spot, but you're not prepared for that. You're walking down the lift with your knife out, expecting greatness, but somebody could easily be standing on this head glitch. So even if he wasn't in this spot, which I agree is a bit of a weird spot, he could easily be standing here and you're still not getting that kill.
Brother,
so, I agree that's a weird spot, but my point is you weren't prepared for any spot. But 100% that's a weird spot. I agree with that. But that's the point. Remember we spoke about credit spots as well. The weirder the spot is, the better it is to be in because they're not going to check it. So going through, and just a small point for this angle here, just like for future. If you're 2-stacking it in this point, I don't think you need to stack this hill. What I would have preferred is instead of stacking the hill with your teammates, because they're probably going to get it regardless, is instead go to the left, so go up these stairs and just watch over the angle because you're the AR player. You want to be getting the kills and stopping the enemies from pushing out the map. Because what happens is when you get trapped in here, like right now, you're kind of trapped. So what happens is the opponents can kind of collapse on you. You're still probably going to get A, but they're going to collapse on you and it's easier for them to get more kills on you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like, because you're kind of collapsing yourself in there, they can just spam stun, spam nades. Where instead, if you were sitting on the stairs, you would be able to watch over your team right now and probably be able to get some kills. Now, again, I kind of expect you to get the point here, but yeah. So yeah, again, you get the point. I was expecting you guys to get the point anyways, but it's just more about just a different scenario, just so you can get a bit more impact into the game. But let's see how you guys go and get B. So I mean, good thing is you guys got A. You don't have a lot of lives in compared to them. You're down by 3, but this is definitely a doable run. 100% a doable round.
Oh. Those
Equipment,
shots, man.
gunfight, challenges, just a lot there to kind of yeah, I think it's just an ego chow, but again, I think next video we can go through your shot a bit more depending on how it looks, because I don't really want to keep going on about your shot when you like you said, like you change sensitivity, you change settings. We've had like a class on recoil control and stuff, so I don't think it's fair to keep going on about the shots. That's fine, we'll leave that for now. So let's see what happens there. So you're gonna go free spot 1 in the distance, good shots there. Go free, great shots. Okay, he's getting a 2-piece, pushing through. Let's see what happens there. I'm curious to see. Okay, you know what? I don't mind this play.
Yo, I missed everyone.
You know what? We're gonna fast forward this. We're not even gonna talk about it, all right? We're not gonna talk about that.
Appreciate that, bro.
What knife miss? I didn't see nothing. So right now, you know somebody's on top of you. So back it up, like even this play right now, this is just such a long route. Like you just don't have the luxury of the time right now to be taking this route. I mean, 30 seconds left. You just don't have the luxury to be going all the way around. To be honest with you. Like you see now, like you've wasted, like now it's just even more pressure. Your teammates are gone, but without you, so you're just kind of out the game for like 15 seconds. I think it's just a bit long right there. Okay, good play, but again, just in case for future, right? If you think somebody's going to be there, chuck a stun grenade. Like, just make it easy on yourself. You're going through, and right now, if he was looking at you, you're probably dead. So just, again, make it easier. Chuck a stun grenade. You got lucky that this guy can't hear anything, but you're able, good play, though. I like that you're a bit more kind of hesitant to check your angles. Good play. You're going to go through 4 versus 3. Going to jump around the corner. Okay, good. You guys should win this round, to be honest. 3 versus 2.
If we don't, something's wrong.
Yeah, definitely. If we don't win this round, something's wrong. All right, there you go. You win the round. Perfect.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, so you're not doing bad, though.
I don't remember. I think we lost this game, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll let this play out a little bit because I know we've got the private game session as well. So we'll kind of let this game play out and just see how it goes. So cruise missile goes through. So again, I think right now you're just watching one angle. Even just a small change of you standing up right now just covers so much more of the map. Now, if you're scared of getting your head taken off when you're standing up, then just snake it. Like, just use your snaking mechanics a bit more. Just stuff like that. I feel like right now you're kind of just, yeah. That was just actually the one angle you were watching is where you threw from.
That's wild, because I couldn't see this guy. That's what, because like the dust was too dusty, and this dude could see me through. My man had Superman powers and could see me through walls, bro.
That was actually a good shot from him as well.
That's wild. Hey, there ain't no way, bro.
Okay, so your teammates are on B. Again, I think it's just about game awareness, map awareness. You're just kind of, you're very hesitant over on the A side. I think what happens is when you see one person, I feel like you assume the whole team's with them. It's something I've seen quite a lot now. It's like right now, like, I don't see anyone at A and you're kind of worried about A, but from the minimap and everything, I'm just assuming they're going to send 4 to B right now. Like, it looks like they're applying a lot of pressure over to B and you're kind of still staying over A. So it's the same what we saw in the first round. And when you lose B this quickly, what happens is you just give them a lot more time to work with. Like, losing B is not the end of the world, but I think losing it this quickly with this many lives, it just causes problems because now they've got 2 minutes to work with. And can you see what you've done? You've not really made any impact, any play so far. So I think that's why it's about sometimes playing a little bit different. Instead of just sitting on this left hand side all the time, sometimes playing the middle area, playing like on this catwalk area, at least that way you can help them over at B.
Right. So my question, okay,
yes,
this is my question.
Go for it.
So like,
shall I rewind it a little bit?
No, because I'm pretty sure I already know how this plays out because some things I don't think about. But anyway, my question is, so like usually when I push a point is not until someone gets on the point. So when it comes to play, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so like, I don't know. It's weird, man. So like, are you supposed? Is there a set way of like, okay, are we just? Oh, we see. I took this guy out at A, and I'm not seeing anybody else. Should I just rotate just to see if someone's at B?
I get your question. I get your question. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Okay. In control, compared to hardpoint spawns, they're kind of fixed, but as the hardpoint changes, the spawn changes. With control, you know, most of the time they're gonna spawn around here. Okay, I'll say like, would you agree with that? They're gonna spawn around somewhere around here.
Yeah,
maybe like here at worst, but you get what I mean. They're gonna spawn around this area. Okay. So as you're going through, if you're getting this kill, yeah, once you get this kill, and your teammates are positioned in an area, right? So if your teammate is sitting here, for example, and he's watching this whole back alley, we know that realistically, unless he gets into an engagement, no enemy is pushing this area. Does that make sense first?
Yeah, that does.
Even if he kills or dies, whatever, until he gets into an engagement, as long as he's alive, I'm thinking nobody is pushing this area. So in my head, I'm like, right, nobody's pushing there. I've just killed somebody here. My teammate is sitting on B by here, and my other teammate is sitting on the top here, okay? Just as an example, we don't know. My other teammate is sitting catwalk. I'm thinking, right, where are they going to be? It's impossible for them to be at A, realistically. Like right now, how can they be at A? Because we've got everything. The only thing we don't have is a bottom tunnel. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this bottom tunnel, and I'm trying to trap them in here. So all control is about making traps and trying to just manipulate their routes, okay? They're going to spawn here regardless. You want to limit their options. So for example, if they approach here and this number 2 beams him, if like number 2 goes here and dies and he's in a great spot, that's limiting their route. These 2 enemies are probably like, okay, what do we do? Let's just go through this tunnel. Let's just go and B. They're going to push through and then you shoot them through this tunnel. So it's not like a set time to kind of get on the hill. It literally depends on the opponents and the setup. So right now, you die, okay? So let's see what happens. As soon as you die, I want to like look at the kill feed. This is important. Look at the kill feed. Your opponent's losing B. Now I'm looking at the kill feed again. Somebody just died. So right now, your opponent has just killed your teammate at B. So immediately, what that says to me is there's danger there. You've got a teammate locked in at A. So if we go back here, you're the blue team. You've got a teammate watching A in a deep angle. He's not had any engagement for the last 20 seconds, okay? And you're sitting here. You had 2 teammates at B, and one of them just died. So forget knowing anything about your opponents. But what that tells me is this guy's in trouble, right? Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So even if he somehow gets a 4-peat, you at least want to be closer to him. But look how far you are. So what you're waiting for him to die, and then you're going to rotate. That's 25 seconds. You should be maybe here, maybe pinching. Like you should be pinching right now or something like that, so that even if he does die, you're already on the catwalk and you can get the trade. So that's what it's about. It's about looking at the minimap and thinking, where is the gap? Right now, the gap is this. And again, this is another hint. Look where your teammate spawns, okay? Look where he spawns. So this guy just dead. He spawns here. That is telling me, as a guarantee, it's literally a guarantee right now that number 4 is screwed. Like he's probably going up against 3 people right now. So you're looking at this minimap, you're looking at A, and look at this again. You're doing the same thing. You're pushing left instead of pushing right. So it's just about that small decision. So you're thinking, oh, I'm going to push left, but you should be thinking, right, I need to back off. I need to help my teammate. Look at this. Your teammate's by himself. Now they're contesting. So now they've gone on to the point, but they could have been there for 5 minutes. They could have been like set up, just not on the point yet. And now I'm assuming your teammate's going to die over at B. Let's see what happens. There you go. Your teammate dies at B. But now look again. Your other teammate's rotating. So he spawned up, he died, spawned up, and rotated there before you even got there. And look what you're doing. You're helping number 1, but you guys are fighting nothing. You guys are just chilling in this corner. Look what you guys are doing. So this guy's not moved, but there's nothing going on. And guess what? Your teammate's rotated by himself, but there's 4 of them there. He's died again. So can you see what I mean? Like how we're painting a picture just from the minimap?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes... to be honest, make too much sense, man.
it's too much sense. I actually agree. Looking back on it, it's too logical for you not to go there now. And look again, like you're watching this bottom area, right? But why would they come through here? Like it's impossible for them to think about. Why would they come through here and not get into engagement with number 1? So it's just stuff like that. You just need to look at the minimap and that, right, my teammate has got that door. Like to be fair, he's not doing anything, but the one thing he has is that door. So you don't need to watch this door. If you hear shots, then you can watch that door because you can assume that somebody somehow is snuck by, ran in and slid into the door. But for now, you should be pushed up here, maybe like pushed up a bit here, sit on a spot there, maybe go back there, watch the stairs, just watch for the retake over at B. That's kind of the main principle. So you see right now, like look what you're doing. You're pre-aiming nothing, to be honest with you. You're just watching like for ghosts, and you might get lucky with like 1 kill every minute, but right now like you're not really putting yourself in positions. So you see what I mean? Like you're sitting here, like maybe you get a gunfight, but you should be positioned in such a better area to stop them from even pushing. Perfect. So what did I say before? What did I say you should be? I said you should be sitting in this corner here, right?
Right.
Imagine you were sitting there. Look what happens. Look at this guy. He runs out into the open. You would have been in a corner waiting for him. So it's just about patience and aggression at the same time. So instead of sitting here, imagine you're sitting in that corner. Just as a difference. You would have seen that guy. He would have ran past. You would have got that free kill. And then you would have been able to flank the enemies. So it's just small plays like that where you really need to kind of think, right, what can I do? Where can I be positioned to get the most out of my input? And just stuff like that. So they're going to go through. They're going to get B. And now you can see where you spawned. And now this is where the danger happens. Now they've got more map control because 4 of you are on this side of the map. Okay, so 4 of you are here. So they could be anywhere. I'm assuming they got someone on the stairs, someone on the window, someone on the hill, someone on the right. I'm assuming like a SWAT team setup right now. So I want to see how you break this one. So your teammates are all dead. You're basically dead here, unfortunately for you. Yeah, nothing much you could do there. You're by yourself. I mean, it's fair enough. You almost got anything, but yeah, you're by yourself there. So can you see like the domino effect? What happens? So yeah. It's kind of ironic because you were watching A the whole game, defending A. As soon as they got B, they got 1 team wipe and they were able to get A. Sometimes it's not about being where you want to be. It's about being where the map pressure is and just stopping them from basically pushing out. So makes sense. Happy with that round? Well, not happy with the round, but happy with the understanding.
Yeah.
Does my answer make more sense for what you were asking me?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool. Because I want you to understand. It's not just about explaining. I want you to really understand, like, oh, that's why I did this. That's why I pushed like that. So you're going to go through. Okay, good shots there. Good shots. You're going to go through. That's 1. Okay, so again, like right now, like, I think just right now, you just got like, as soon as you get that kill, right? like nobody's here, so you shouldn't be expecting somebody to just push you. Like, it doesn't make sense for me. In my opinion, you got a dead silence, you should be running. Like, let's say you're number 3 and your teammates here and the blue team's them. As soon as you get that kill on number 1, if I'm you, honestly, I'm popping a dead silence and I'm running at them. Like, I don't know where they are, but I know there's somebody here. Like, they're going to be somewhere like this. Do you remember when I said the first round you got to watch the flank constantly?
Yeah.
They need to watch it for you. Like, you should be the player flanking, making plays. You got dead silence. So this way you can be pushing through, making plays. Instead of sitting back here, all you're doing is watching this alleyway. But again, no one's going to come from there. Like, you just cleared this whole area. It's impossible for them to be there. See what I mean? Like, you're watching this, but like realistically, you just cleared B, so no one's going to be there. Like, you should be stopping these plays before they even get a chance to set up. That's my main kind of goal here.
Yeah.
So Lorana, you're pushing through again, dead silence, okay? This way you want to use your equipment wisely. Like, you're pushing through, but if they've got headsets, like, they can hear you right now, but you've got a dead silence. This is such a broken utility. Make sure to use it. Pop your dead silence, push through, and this is where you should really make a play, okay?
That makes sense.
Same thing. There you go. So right now, like, you see how you use it so late? Like, realistically, if they knew you were flanker, they would have heard you already. Just use it slightly earlier and just try to make a look exactly what happened. I love when I'm right, when I make a play. I'm like, yes, that's the best feeling. So right now, can you see how he knew you were there? It's because, like, you gave him all the sound cues he needed. So you pop a dead silence now, it didn't do anything because he's like, oh, mate, I already heard you. See what I mean? See the difference?
Yeah.
Now imagine you're playing a diamond with sound EQ on, that's sweating his arse off for a crimson. Like, he's gonna hear you from miles away. So you just got to really step up in terms of some of your awareness. But overall, man, I think you play a lot better. I think from what we spoke about as well, I'm a lot more confident in your gameplay, your understanding and stuff. So I think you're in a good spot, man. I think you're in a good spot. Go through. I know this gameplay was from a while ago as well, so don't worry. For our next session, we'll review your latest one as well. So you should be good to go. Again, kind of just using your equipment right here. Just game awareness again. We know that somebody could be on the top. Let's see what happens here. Teammates get 2. So yeah, I think honestly it was just one of those scenarios where you guys just didn't put enough map pressure on, and yeah, you weren't able to kind of capitalize on that. Do you have any questions about the gameplay or anything you want to ask before we go to the private match?
Nah, man, it all makes sense. It's one of those things I just need to pay attention to it, and then I guess when you say cut off lanes, like I understood, but I didn't understand because there's so many aspects to cutting lanes, because you don't want to cut a lane too early or too late, right? Like, so
yeah, it's difficult. It's kind of concept to understand. It's like, it's easy to say, but yeah, no, that's fine. What we'll do, we'll get into the private game because I know you only have a few minutes left. But YouTube, thank you guys for watching. Show him some love, man. His gameplay was great kind of person to help coach as well. His attitude's amazing. So yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for that. And we'll jump in the private game now. But yeah, YouTube, thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.